I'm Casey Claiborne, and thanks for watching this CrimeWatch YouTube exclusive, where we take a look back at recent crime stories that have been making headlines in our area. The search continues for the person who shot a woman to death in her car in North Austin. Detectives believe this incident was the result of road rage, and they get reports of road rage on a weekly basis. Fox 7 Austin's Amanda Ruiz has the story.
Last Saturday evening, Austin police responded to a one-car collision on the southbound service road of North I-35. But what started as a crash quickly escalated to a homicide investigation when police discovered a woman inside the vehicle with a gunshot wound.
The injuries were not consistent with a crash, so homicide was called out.
The woman has since been identified as 46-year-old Teresa Gandy Ferguson. Detectives believe her death was the result of road rage, an incident Austin police officers have become used to handling.
This is my second road rage homicide of this year that I've personally worked. I know over an aggravated assault, they have a few cases that come in, I think even weekly, with road rage incidents. So I think we all just need to be a little more courteous as we're driving.
Fox 7 Austin News sat down with AAA spokesperson Daniel Armbruster about the increase in road rage cases in Texas.
And really what road rage is just aggressive driving taken to an extreme level.
He says state data reveals road rage crashes have spiked over the last 10 years. In 2012, he says there were 960 road rage crashes reported in Texas. In 2021, that number almost doubled to 1,661.
Aggressive driving has always been an issue, but we saw during the COVID-19 pandemic, those incidents at least reported more. So certainly that is concerning. It's also concerning that it doesn't seem to have slowed down since the pandemic is now behind us.
Armbruster says this spike isn't just the result of the pandemic alone. Adding aggressive driving has always been an issue. This being backed by AAA's own study that found nearly 80% of drivers express road rage behind the wheel at least once in the previous 30 days.
We say don't respond, don't offend, and just be tolerant and forgiving.
Amanda Ruiz, Fox 7 Austin News.
Law enforcement need the public's help tracking down a man considered armed and dangerous. They believe he was involved in a murder in Bell County. Fox 7 Austin's Carissa Limco has the details.
On the border of Leander and Liberty Hill off Live Oak Road, a white truck found abandoned. But it's the missing owner that has the attention of law enforcement.
So that's where we're at now, is just asking the public's help.
Bell County investigator Corey Powell was in Williamson County on Monday to discuss a case that's crossed county lines.
Just before 10 a.m. on Thursday, September 21st, a 911 call was received from Sandy Carisi reporting that she had been shot. And that she was traveling down the road just east of Temple.
Carisi told responding paramedics that her friend had also been shot at a home down Little Flock Road. That's where Cody Kinslow was found dead.
So as we started, working the case throughout and reviewing forensic evidence, cell phones and stuff like that, we were able to get enough probable cause to present to the district attorney's office, charging Sandy with her involvement in Cody's murder, and additionally Ryan Madden, who actually drove Howard Bailey to the scene.
3 suspects total. Howard Bailey and Sandy Carisi now in jail.
So she got shot by accident is what we believe.
Both facing murder charges for Cody Kinslow's murder.
The story is that he had just won some money in gambling, and so it looks like a robbery.
Ryan Madden is still missing.
We actually saw him on Thursday after the warrant was issued. Attempted to, with the assistance of Liberty Hill Police Department, attempted to take him into custody, but he evaded in his vehicle.
A vehicle later abandoned, and Madden believed to be in either Burnett, Travis, or Williamson County.
That's ultimately why we asked the public's help. Like, where can we find him? Because he's already demonstrated this behavior. And Ryan can always turn himself in. He can turn himself into any law enforcement. And he won't be in danger either. We don't want to see Ryan get hurt. We don't want to see anybody else get hurt over this.
Carissa Lemkel, Fox 7 Austin News.
Austin police have arrested more than 30 suspects accused of killing people this year, but several homicide cases remain unsolved and families want justice. Fox 7 Austin's Meredith Aldis has the story.
You took their mother away from them.
Families grieve after losing their loved ones to violence.
Worst call in the world.
I'm hurt. I'm angry.
She can't tell me that she loved me, like, no.
The Austin Police Department has investigated more than 45 homicides this year. Some families have received answers as to who killed their loved ones, as APD has arrested suspects in about 85% of the cases. Some families are still waiting for answers.
At this time, I don't have any suspect information. There is no one in custody, but we are actively working this.
The Austin Police Department is looking for suspects in at least 5 homicides that occurred this year.
I can assure you that we're doing everything we can to locate the individuals responsible for these particular actions.
Some cases have yet to be solved. On April 20th, John Powers was killed in a South Austin homeless encampment off 290. On May 9th, a woman called APD and said her boyfriend, 18-year-old Devontae Reese, was shot dead in East Austin. On June 30th, Larry Jennings was killed in a shooting in a North Austin neighborhood. On July 16th, officers responded to reports of a shooting at the Valero gas station on Airport Boulevard. Police say Taharius White was inside the gas station as a customer when the suspect entered the gas station and shot and killed White. Last month, a man was found shot dead at the Greenbrier apartment complex on Parker Lane just south of Oltorf. Police also discovered a body while responding to a grass fire in northwest Austin.
I don't believe we've had actually a murder out in this area this year.
The victims' families want justice.
If you watch this to see my pain is hurtful. I can't sleep at night, nor can I eat. It hurts.
I hope that justice is served to the max.
If you have any information to help in these investigations, call the Austin Police Department. You can submit a tip anonymously through the Capital Area Crime Stoppers program. A reward of up to $1,000 may be available for information that leads to an arrest. Meredith Aldis, Fox 7 Austin Crime Watch.
To San Marcos now, where police are looking for the man behind a string of burglaries at an apartment complex. This guy went on a trespassing spree, making his way inside several unlocked apartments, and in some cases stealing things, and others just scaring the heck out of people who live there. Fox 7 Austin's Tan Radford spoke with one resident who says she came face to face with the intruder.
Residents in this complex say last Sunday, an unknown man walked into multiple homes. One woman tells me she woke up to him in her bedroom.
It's about 5-something in the morning on Sunday, and I wake up because I hear my bedroom door creaking open. All my lights are off.
Jennifer Quintanar, who lives with 2 roommates at the Villages on Telluride, says she thought the person was one of her roommates' friends.
He walks towards me and he sits at a chair next to my bed. And I just keep asking him, what is he doing here? Why is he here?
It was in that moment, Jennifer says, she was able to get a closer look and realized she was talking to an intruder.
He just runs out of my room, runs out of my apartment. All the bedrooms are upstairs, so I kind of chase him out to the hallway to see who he is, but I just see the back of him.
Jennifer says he got away with car keys and a cell phone. She immediately notified her roommates at San Marcos Police, the apartment complex, and apartment group chat that she's a part of.
People were sending information and security camera footage of that guy, and he was going to different houses trying to get in, see what doors were unlocked.
Cody Marino lives a few doors down, and he says he experienced the same intruder on the same day.
We were chilling in the kitchen, and out of nowhere we just see some guy walk into our apartment, and we have no idea who he is.
Cody says he told the man he had the wrong house and asked him to leave.
He was persistent on staying inside. He kept on saying, is so-and-so's name here? Whenever there was no one named like that in our house. And after that, we just got him by the shoulders and we just kicked him out of our apartment.
Jennifer says the apartment complex sent out an email to residents after learning about the burglary.
Just kind of saying, like, be careful, lock your doors, and that, like, they're trying to enforce more security and that now there's going to be security patrolling 7 days a week.
Jennifer tells me she did make a police report and police are still searching for that suspect. In San Marcos, I'm Tan Radford, Fox 7 Austin News.
A father from Kerr County was found dead on a property in Georgetown way back in 1994. Nearly 30 years later, the question remains, is there a connection between the killing and the owner of that property? Police aren't sure, and they need help solving this cold case. Fox 7 Austin's Libby Farrow has a closer look at the case of John Myatt.
On June 15, 1994, Arby Heckman found a body on his property in Georgetown.
I had noticed several buzzards in the trees and on the fence post and didn't think much of it the first day. And the next day, more and more seemed to show up. I went ahead and I walked down here and I was almost going to turn around because I thought I'd seen everything, and I took a couple more steps and I found him laying here on the ground.
That body was identified as John Michael Myatt, a 43-year-old father from Mountain Home, Texas, just outside of Kerrville. Myatt was found near the corner of County Road 254 and County Road 255.
Once the deputies arrived on scene, they did locate the body, confirmed it was human. After various different methods were used, the person was identified as John Michael Myatt.
Arby Heckman showed me exactly where he found John Myatt on his property that day.
And when you approached him, it was a hot June day.
Yes, ma'am, it was extremely hot. It was probably 100 degrees or better. It appeared that he'd been here for some time.
Yeah.
I don't know how long that had been.
In 1994, you said, the area was a little bit different.
It was heavily grown up. It was just covered real thick. This is at the end of a road that's supposed to be a cul-de-sac on two pieces of property, but it never had a fence or anything, so people would sometimes come here, turn around, you'd see evidence of beer cans or maybe even shotgun shells or something. It's a pretty traumatic thing, you come up and you find somebody, it's not something you're looking for. I ran home and I called 911.
Yeah. Myatt was clearly a long way from home, and detectives wanted to know what he was doing there.
According to family members and witnesses, he had left where he lived outside of Kerrville to go to Arlington on June 9th, which is just a couple days prior to him being located. He had gone to visit someone on business in Arlington.
Myatt was a manager at a ranch in Kerrville where he lived and worked. Police later learned Myatt had no intention on stopping by Arby Heckman's home.
Did you guys know each other? Did you have any connection?
No, I had no idea. I didn't know who he was, didn't know anything.
Myatt's son reported him missing on June 13th, 1994, just a few days after he left their home.
Him and his son also worked together on that ranch, and just before his death, they had really, started to rebuild their relationship and were actually getting along great and trying to do things together like they hadn't before in the past. It's very sad that his life was taken, as he and his family tried to rebuild their relationship.
While police were investigating the scene, they came upon John Myatt's truck just a half a mile from his body.
John's truck was located nearby, approximately half a mile away. His truck, if somebody didn't know him, they might at least remember his truck or what it looked like. At the time of his death, he was driving a 90s model Ford pickup. It was white and gray, two-tone in color. It looked well kept. And anybody that might remember seeing that truck in this area or anything like that is encouraged to call as well.
If you have any information on the murder of John Myatt, call the Williamson County Sheriff's Office or Crime Stoppers. During an exclusive interview with Fox 7, which you can see in its entirety right here on our YouTube channel, Nicholas Shaughnessy admitted to hiring a hitman to kill his parents. The Austin man was sentenced to 35 years in prison for his father's murder, but he's eligible for parole in about 20 years. Fox 7 Austin's CrimeWatch reporter Meredith Aldis spoke with a criminal defense attorney about how the interview could impact his parole.
I'm not going to sit here and say that I didn't do this. I'm not going to play a victim card. I most certainly played my role, and I wholeheartedly regret it.
In 2021, Nicholas Shaughnessy pleaded guilty to murder for the death of his father in 2018. In an exclusive interview with Fox 7, Shaughnessy admitted to hiring a hitman to kill his parents.
Well, at the end of the day, he pled guilty to the offense anyways. A lot of times what the parole voters are looking for, though, is an admission to the underlying offense.
Shaughnessy was sentenced to 35 years in prison.
The road of what if is inevitable, but as time progresses, I focus on the future, not the past.
Shaughnessy is eligible for parole after serving about 17 and a half years in prison.
He hasn't really done a lot of time in prison. I think they're going to look at more towards the end of his sentence, or towards when he's up for review, what kind of statements, what kind of a person he is he at that point in time? How has he matured? Is he still a danger? That kind of stuff. But initially, I don't think it's going to hurt him with the statement that he said, the interview that he gave to you.
When the time comes, at least 3 parole voters will review Shaughnessy's case. Anthony says the parole voters will go over the facts of the case and what he does with his time in prison. Nicholas says he's working on his associate's degree.
If this were my client, I'd be telling him you need to work on taking advantage of any kind of classes that you can, get any advanced degrees that you can,
and stay out of trouble.
So the parole board will look at how many disciplinary issues that you've had, what degrees that you've done.
Anthony says it's rare for someone to be released the first time they're eligible for parole in a case like this.
Typically, for a case like this, my guess is 17 and a half years from now, a lot can change. But my guess is they're going to be a set-off of some larger length. And then as those set-offs get shorter and shorter, that is kind of a sign that the voters think that you're getting closer and closer to being approved for parole.
Meredith Aldis, Fox 7 Austin News.
Now for some stories from North Texas. In Collin County, a woman has been sentenced to 75 years in prison for the torture of another young woman who lived in her home. We need to warn you, the details are disturbing. Fox's David Santindri has that story.
Relieved. 27-year-old Simone Valdez-Junkin clings to her therapist with burn scars across her arms after testifying against her abuser, 37-year-old Alicia Calderon.
So she was friends with Alicia before any of this happened.
In 2019, Valdez-Junkin thought she was moving into Calderon's trailer in Wiley to clean and care for Calderon's children and a disabled elderly woman in exchange for free rent. Valdez-Junkin's parents say communication drifted.
I guess I just thought that she was just kind of living her life.
For more than 2 years, however, Calderon controlled Valdez-Junkin with unthinkable torture. She severely burned Valdez-Junkin's arms, chest, and back by pouring a pot of boiling water on her. She deprived her of food, locked her in a dog crate, and cut off her communication to the outside world.
It's heinous. You don't think that this kind of stuff can happen.
On February 1st, 2022, Valdez-Junkin got a hold of a phone and sent her stepfather a message saying she was locked in a room and needed help. It was the first time in 2 years Valdez-Junkin had spoken with her parents. Her stepfather went to the trailer with deputies who had to remove stacked stones away from the door in order to free her. She was down to 68 pounds. Her head was shaved, and she had second and third degree burns.
I initially did not recognize her. All she wanted to do was just get away.
It took me about a week and a half before I really could register that that was my daughter. I couldn't. She was just skin, literally skin hanging off of her bones.
During Calderon's sentencing, prosecutors revealed she stole nearly $80,000 from the disabled elderly woman in her care, the money going toward tattoos, tire rims, and party rentals. Prosecutors say her husband, Joseph Calderon, was involved. He's charged with elderly exploitation and abuse. He's out on bond awaiting trial. Fox 4 tried to make contact with him at the trailer Tuesday, but we were asked to leave.
There's no comment, go away. It's private property. Thank you.
Is this Joseph? I mean, they're just terrible people.
One neighbor says he saw Valdez-Junkin on occasion, but did not know the abuse she was suffering.
Yeah, she would always be dirty. They wouldn't shower her or nothing. Like, she would always be dirty.
I wasn't there for her. And I hate that.
Valdez-Junkin's parents say they never suspected the torture. Now, as Calderon begins a sentence of 75 years in prison, they say their daughter is determined to make the most of her life.
Simone is absolutely determined to overcome all of this.
David Centendry, Fox 4 News.
And finally, we end in Arlington, where witnesses described the terrifying scene at a car dealership during an active shooter encounter. Part of it captured on cell phone video. And we're learning more about the suspect, a former employee there. Fox's Dion Anglin has that story.
The cell phone video is chilling. A witness who asked not to be named started recording as the shooter, armed with a long gun, ran around outside the Arlington car dealership firing. The gunman is identified as 25-year-old Abbas al-Mutari. Police ultimately shot and wounded him, noting at the time he never entered the dealership showroom. As the investigation continues, I spoke to al-Mutari's mother and sister by phone. They did not want to do an interview. Al-Mutari's mother described him as someone who never spoke about things that bothered him, but rather kept to himself. She says he worked at the Honda dealership for roughly 2 months as a car salesman and never told her why he was fired.
It's really, really, really hard to think about going through. You're not ready. Nobody's ready for it.
Elizabeth Rostro's husband is a finance manager at the dealership. As restoration workers moved about the facility, which remains closed in wake of the shooting, Rostro waited in her car while her husband retrieved some items. Police initially said al-Mutari did not enter the dealership, but Rostro says he was inside the building with the gun and that her husband helped to get multiple people out of harm's way.
He made sure that a lot of people got out. He is definitely in shock right now. He has a lot of emotions, but you know, we're here for him.
Another witness who was buying a car at the dealership Thursday night would not talk on camera, but told me al-Mutari looked inside the office where he was and directly at him as he and 2 others crouched beneath a desk. He says they were terrified, then relieved when al-Mutari walked away as if he were looking for someone specific. Al-Mutari's mother also told me she never knew her son to have a gun at her home where he lived. She also revealed another of their relatives also worked at the dealership. Meantime, Arlington police continue 2 separate investigations, the shooting itself and the review of the officer's actions who took down al-Mutari. Dion Anglin, Fox 4 News.
Thanks for watching the Fox 7 Austin Crime Watch YouTube exclusive. Our Crime Watch stories run each Monday on Fox 7 Austin News at 9. If you missed them, you can watch them anytime on our new Fox Local Connected TV app. It's free to download, and you can watch on Roku, Android TV, Apple TV, and Fire TV. For more on the stories highlighted in this episode, you can head to our website, fox7austin.com, and don't forget to subscribe to the Fox 7 Austin YouTube channel.